I will lead us in prayer, guys. Feel free to join us as we bow our heads and lead us into this.
Do you pray with your hands up? Do you put them out? Do you put them together? Is there a
I,
particular method
I
that you
usually
use?
put my hands out like as a give. We'll go ahead and pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you have given us, that we are able to wake up and rejoice that we are alive and well and be able to enjoy the little things, which is playing video games with your friends from afar. I don't know why I'm thanking you, Lord, that we're about to play this game. Let this game be a metaphor of how we can get closer to you and be better of who you are. Be better versions of us with your light. Yes, your word is a light unto our feet and a light into my path. And Lord, that I am now still feeling the effects of what hell may be like, because my sauna of a bedroom is a good example, because my AC is still broken. And I pray that you come through and you redeem me and deliver me from the hell of my bedroom.
Oh, that's gonna be us, little barbecue nomies and Tabitha's. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I was a
Okay, this is not gonna be good. You have somebody who's afraid of heights, even in the first place. Went and flip off the keyboard. We both can jump on the first time.
Oh my god!
I'm scared.
How are you feeling? Are you okay? Trust the process. That's us screaming.
Yelling at me.
Thanks for, making our friendship stronger, man. I feel like we've reached a new level here.
We have reached new heights. And maybe that gets old for some people. It never gets old for me, especially when the screaming starts, commences. No. But anyway, I'm Dreamy Tabitha, an artist here on YouTube, going live on a random Friday night. Because we have a very awesome guest with us today that this has been in the making for quite a while. And even though I was told to kick him and dislike him, throw him in a pool, shove him out a window, put poison in his diet Dr. Pepper or whatever it is that you drink, we finally have Biggles met on the channel because he wanted to learn how to draw chibis, and he came to the right place, because if you've been on the channel for a long time or even a little bit, you'll know that that's kind of a specialty. We have Biggles met. How are you, sir? Welcome in.
Good. How are you, Tabitha?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to this. It's been a little while since I have taught anybody how to do anything. That used to be my occupation, so it's high time I kick it into gear and figure that out. I do want to give a shout out real quickly to our amazing crowd that has gathered tonight. I know there's a lot of people live right now, so thank you for hanging out with us tonight. It's gonna be fun. Over on Kick, I do see Grape over there, and I see Jonathan the Artist over also here on the YouTube side. And then DL was here first and foremost, as always, hitting us with everything but the kitchen sink. And then let's see, Swift -1, waving. And of course, there's me in the chat because I have put Biggles' link for his kick. I didn't take the time. I couldn't find your YouTube channel. So yeah, exactly. There's Biggles. If you want to know what Biggles' logo looks like, it's right there. It's the big apple with a baseball.
That's the old one. That's the one that I use for just like watching people, because it has premium.
Oh, so this is your lurker emote.
Yeah. So if you go to Biggles Mets without the underscore, that's me.
Aha. Well, again, I do have the, so hopefully I have your X/Twitter handle, and I also have your Kick. So one way or another, the people will find you, like Maria Biggles. She says, hello. And Henkley Studio says Biggles should draw Lucy instead. Well,
That's his favorite character, and the person on my wallet.
Oh, that's some gorgeous side boobage there. Wow. Okay, well, I wasn't ready for the big guns. Okay.
I'm sorry.
So, but yeah, we are going to be teaching, or rather, I'm going to be teaching Biggles just the fundamentals so that no matter who he wants to draw, he can have a good foundation. And the thing about anything is, what do we always say? Practice, practice, practice. So, but once you have the fundamentals down, you can build off of that and create whatever it is that you want. And, but tonight we're going to be starting with our lovely little character of Juvia. DL says, well, Tabitha, you are the best looking one streaming at this time. Thank you. Better than Fear the Beardo? Wow.
Yes.
It's a compliment. Hang on. I always. Do I look better in a beard? I know my dad has a big old bushy beard, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, so you look a lot like your mother." And I'm like, "Well, hang on a second. You know, now I look more like my father." But okay. So, Bagels is who the freaking heck are you anyway on the internet? For those that don't know,
So I'm Biggles. This is about my drawing level.
it's a great start.
So that's about my drawing level. I've actually been around forever. Like, I originally started on Twitch in like 2009.
Ooh. Oh my!
And I made it onto like a pro team in a MOBA game, and I was pro for about 3 months, and then I moved, and my internet just couldn't handle it because I moved to a place that had awful internet. So I streamed for another year and a half. And so by like 2013, I stopped streaming. And then I decided in like 2019 or 2018 to go back to streaming. And all I did was play video games. I changed my name to Biggles Mets because I basically all I wanted to do was play the show. And then the show got bad and I stopped playing it. And I went back to tactical games. And my original plan when I came back was to try to learn how to draw everything and make my own little character and like do some animations. And as you can see from my last sketch, that didn't go very well. So I've been practicing editing. So I do a lot of editing. Some of the people you may have seen videos from that I did some editing for. I did some editing for Justin Proper for a while. I did.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Are you saying that you're the man responsible for
Probably not.
my eyes burning from that Daniel Radcliffe video?
I don't think I did that one for Justin,
Okay.
but I did do one of Jeremy and Ryan, and
Okay.
it's the same one. I did that before Jay Hailstorm did, and then I think Jay Hailstorm and I had just Jeremy and Ryan switched. And
Okay.
like every other person was like the same.
I can handle that. If I never see Daniel Radcliffe and like burlesque leather singing Coming Around the Mountain When She Comes again in my life, I will die a happy woman. Happy. Retro Collective says, hey, Biggles in chat. Okay, so yeah, exactly, Maria. I still hear the screaming at night from myself. Yeah.
I still have the video of it with Jeremy's face as Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh my goodness. The internet is such a unique place because it has its pros, it has its cons, but I will say overall, it's been a pretty great place. I mean, without it, we couldn't be doing what we're doing tonight. So there we go. So your goal, if I might clarify real quickly before we get started with our drawing, your goal from this, or at least it used to be, you wanted to be able to draw your own characters so that you could animate them. Is that still something you would like to do?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Well, yeah. So it comes down to the sketch work then. Let's get that rolling here. I've got my lovely little Procreate open. Biggles is using a different platform for that product. And so it's totally fine. We were going with the option between either hand drawn with a classic paper and pencil or digital, because this way then it might be a little easier to edit and you can always work with it. So we're going to be doing, Maria is going to be sketching along with us. Are you going to try to sketch what we're sketching, or are you just doing your own thing? Let me know. But yeah, so we're just going to get started. He came to me for chibi advice, and here I am. So I have to try to do this differently. I was explaining to Biggles that while everything's the same, everything is very much different when you're changing mediums. One thing lends to another, but I'm in my teacher brain mode, but I've never taught anybody digitally before. So I was going to say grab your stencil and we're going to make a circle, when I remembered we don't do that because it's digital.
I do have a stencil for a circle though in the
Perfect.
yeah.
Because I don't know how your program works, so we're just going to do the best that we can. The important thing, all right, everybody, bring it in real quick. The important thing, Biggles, for you and anybody out there who's wanting to learn how to draw, is to not place yourself in a category of people who do this all the time. Remember that I'll just tell you, it took years for me to get where I am. And while it might seem that chibis are very simple, and they are, to finesse and finagle and all the other stuff that goes along with it, it took years for me to figure that out. So number one, don't put yourself down when you're just starting, because you're not where, I'll say this humbly, but like where I am. All right. I do this every day. So I have a lot of muscle memory when it comes to creating these characters. Okay. So yeah, exactly. You just got to start somewhere. And so don't compare. It's okay to compare your artwork to somebody else's if you're wanting to get better so that you can learn, but don't compare your skill level to mine, because like I said, I do this every day. And so yours is going to look fantastic. It just won't look like mine. And just because it won't look like mine doesn't make it bad. All right. That's important lesson number one.
Well, don't worry. I even traced the sketch you sent me as like practice, and it was not very good.
Okay. What did we just say?
No, I'm saying that won't be a problem. I already know I'm not going to be as good as you. I couldn't even trace well.
Oh, yeah, but you're saying that with like a negative content. You know what?
I'm very beginner level. I have books on how to do it. I've watched your videos on how you do stuff, and I just am not there yet. So I know I gotta keep working and keep getting better.
Okay. As long as what is it? One of the greatest Americans ever said, never give up, never surrender. All right. So the first things first, I, of course, have this layer here, and I like to sketch. This is more traditional, so I continue it on with digital, is that I get a nice blue color for my sketch pen. I do have, because I am using Procreate, but from what I understand, your program has this as well. I am specifically using Peppermint, but I'm just using a sketch brush, something that looks like, when you get really close to it, it just kind of looks like pencil. Anything will do. It doesn't have to be mine exactly.
This is called pencil.
Perfect. Doesn't get much clearer than that. So the first thing that I always do when I create my chibi is I need a foundation. So I am going to draw a circle. Now I am able to cheat in Procreate, because if I press down with my other finger, it makes a perfect circle. Are you able to do that at all with yours?
I have this thing called ruler, and it has a circular one. So it won't let me do anything outside of the circle.
Okay.
And it keeps it with
you just get yourself a circle down. That's all we need.
Got it.
Okay, I was gonna say, you let me know when you've got everything. By the way, Olivia, thank you for the follow. Hello there. Really enjoy your streams. You seem pretty cool, and I love it. You're one of those Discord people. Wow, joke's on you. I hate Discord. So, all right. So we have our circle. Now, this is my particular style. It's the thing that I always do, but I'm going to start you out simple. Is that I always have my chibis with a little bit of a head turn. Okay. So that's just what we're going to do. So I will zoom in here. That's what I'm going to do. So Over in this general area here, right? Now, this is again sketching. Sketching is like this, okay? Like it doesn't need to be perfect. Don't worry about perfect lines. We start with a nice perfect circle for a good foundation. But here on out, don't worry about erasing. Don't listen to Maria if she comes into the chat and says something about erasers, okay? Don't worry about erasing. This is what's called just the rough draft, the rough sketch, okay? So I come over here and I like to just come in and you see I'm just making a couple of marks and I'm just curving here underneath of the circle.
Okay.
And I bring it over and just kind of round it out to sort of meet the other side here. And you can see it's not perfect. Maria, you keep that to yourself, okay?
And then do we make a new layer for this, or is
Nope.
this still the same
Nope.
layer? Okay.
So the sketch is all going to be on one layer. Maria, I understand. Like, don't get me wrong. I erase all the time too. But it's really beneficial to just get a really nasty first sketch out. Number one, it's good exercise for your hand to get accustomed to the brush or the marker or pencil, whatever you're using. It just kind of gets the blood flowing. And then it helps to tell you what you do and do not like, right? So if you've got this going on right now, Biggles, for me personally, not super happy with how low this is. So I'm going to come up a little bit. And I want you, this is also, I'm a little bit different than most teachers. I am not just going to teach you shape for shape what I do. I'm also going to teach you how to trust your intuition. Okay. Again, we're going to have different art styles. We're going to have different preferences. So I want you to trust some of your instincts here. Chibis basically are big heads with cute little cheeks. Okay. So you just kind of make it into a shape that you enjoy. Go over it a little bit. I'm going to come here and I'm just going to round this out a little more myself. And I will darken the areas that I really like. Just like so.
So like go back over it.
Yeah, yeah.
Or,
Basically just darken the spots that you like the most. You can see here. See, I've got like this little thing over here. Whoops. That little corner, I don't like that. So I'm not going to draw over it again. I'm just going to leave it there. And I drew in the areas that I liked the most. Okay.
I
All
can
right.
do that.
Yeah. Now, I know that in our reference picture, because I sent Bickles the picture that I have as well. I mean, it's a lot to look at, but we're just using it as a guide. She doesn't have an ear, but for me and a lot of other people, it is kind of a good idea to complete more or less the anatomy, even that you can't see, to help make it make sense in your brain. So over here, I'm just going to do a little C. And you can see it's not a perfect ear because I went over it a couple times. And don't worry, Maria, you just sit down and just stay in your corner. We're going to erase. Don't worry. This is just the rough sketch, but I make the little ear. This is what I do.
Well, she does have an ear in the reference picture. It's very on the right side.
Right. That's on the other side. Our character is turned a lot more than she is.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me know when you got your ear.
I got the ear.
Okay, cool. All right. So I also noticed that I put her way down on the bottom. So I'm going to give her a little bit of space and breathing room here. All right. So next comes the body. And again, it's just all kind of gesture drawing is what we called it in class. So I call it little gourds is what I call in my body, my anatomy. This is what we're doing. It's not exactly a teardrop. It's just kind of a gourd. Or maybe it's like a necktie, a tongue, whatever you see.
Parentheses, math.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that too. Maria, that's for video games, not for artwork. Just go work on your artwork. Leave me alone. Okay. So we have a head, we got an ear, we got this little body. Now, we're going to try to simplify what our character is doing in our reference. Okay. So for those that don't know, in our reference drawing, our character has her hand kind of daintily like this, and the other one is kind of out to the side. Okay. We're not going to cover up her face because hands are hard right now and Biggles is just starting out. So what we're going to do is just make a nice little curve over here. Okay. And Of course, you let me know if I'm ever going too fast, but I'm just going to go ahead and give you the shape that I have. James the King says, I'm learning a lot. All right. Well, Mando's not here, so be careful. Maria, keep your eye on that one. He got a little too comfortable the other day. All right. So you got our little weird parentheses again. Okay. All right. The hand. We do a line like this with whatever this shape is. It's kind of like a square that's been pulled apart a little bit.
Okay.
And we're going to keep these hands simple. Like Maria says, they are very difficult to do. So we're going to go with the mitten hands because lots of chibis have the mitten hands. But this is
my go-to.
Yes.
The mitten.
And then so we're just going to give her a little bit of a thumb, just like that. We'll play around with this, but again, it's not perfect. It's totally fine. Just giving her. It's all right. We can always play with that later. All right. She got a little bit of a cutesy little thing here. Now
This
we're
is
going to.
what I got so far.
All right. Show us the money. Hang on. Yes. All right. Before we're going to finish our rough sketch, and then I'm going to give you some pointers of where things can be cleaned up that will help you. Okay. But off to a great start. All right, so then on over here, I like to come over and I'm just going to draw. We know what shoulders look like, so let's not be scared of them, okay? The shoulders, they come on over here. And I'm just going to kind of draw an arm for you like this. And it's going to be the same thing where I do a line like this, and I'm going to do kind of a stretched out square. With our little thumb. It is a little bit difficult for Tabitha because I'm so accustomed to doing these and I do them pretty quickly that having to slow them down throws my process off, which is really funny because that's just how it is. It's like once you have, again, that muscle memory and then having to slow down, you can't even remember almost sometimes why you do it a certain way anyway. So she's not quite as dainty as the picture. But again, the purpose of this sketch is to get your basic idea onto the paper and then rule out what you do and do not like. So here we go. She's got a little bit of a curve to her. So we're going to imagine where her hips would be. You can go ahead and do this line too. It's a little bit lower, but you can go ahead and do a line kind of like this. Trust your instincts too when it comes to human anatomy. You know what a woman looks like, okay? You know what a man looks like. I understand that chibis are caricature versions of humans, but it's still fundamentally the same. We need a head, we need a body, we need arms, we need legs. So just kind of using some imagination and your intuition. We know that she would have hips right around there. And so from our hips comes our femur bones, right? And so we're just going to give her a little bit of a curve back here. A little bit of a leg like this here in the front. We know that the thigh area is rounded and the widest part of the leg. So just remember that even when you're making little chibis. And we're going to give her a little kick. She's going to come back this way. And we give her a little cute little boot. And again, it's all kind of wonky. I'm fully aware of that. If there are any haters out there. But that's okay. We have what looks like a chibi, a human-ish creature. Right? Okay, you good?
Yep.
Cool. All right. And then she's got the other leg that's kind of, we're going to kind of hide the other foot. We'll just kind of like come over this way. Hang on, wait a minute. Let me check this out. I think that I hid her other foot behind her other leg. So now I have to remember how we did that. We just kind of imagine that the other leg is there. I think this is, yeah. Let me just do this real quickly and I can walk you through it. There we go. Okay, so again, if you need to, you can do the other leg through this leg. Just darken it to imagine where her other foot would be. And then eventually we'll go in and erase, okay? So don't get thrown off. Don't get thrown off. Oops. Looks a little wonky, everybody. I know. But don't worry. Let me know when you got all that. No rush, by the way. I just always reaffirming. You let me know when you have it.
Look, I could do that. Okay.
Look at us learning things.
I took the foot and I drew it a little too far. So instead I just put the line where the foot would be above it.
There, exactly. Okay. Now, I will say this is the point where I agree with Maria that erasing is very helpful. There are a lot of lines that are taking place on our character at the bottom portion right now, which for me can get confusing. So I will go to my eraser tool and I'm only going to erase the line that is behind the body here, just like this. That's all. That's the only line I'm going to erase because it lets me know that that leg is behind the other one. And so it doesn't throw me off too much. This might not happen for you in your artistic journey. Maybe it's not like that for Maria. It's different for every person, but you came to Tabitha and that's how I operate. I don't do a lot of erasing at first, only in specific spots if I know that it's going to throw me off later on. So here we have a basic chibi character. Let me push her up a little bit more here. We've got a head, body, everything like that. Now, I know that mine is not necessarily perfect because her arm over here is too long. So what happens with this? We identify the points that we do not like. Okay. So if you would bring up your art piece there, let me do this. My recommendation is, do you see where her cheek is on yours? Is right underneath of basically the brow bone of her character. Like it doesn't even line up with her head shape, right? So if you want to, if you want to compare it, where I have it lined up like this, right? You see that it's almost perpendicular to this. I also have her tilting her head down a little bit, which is why it's not sticking out so far. So before you go to erasing your image, here's what a lot of other people do as well. If you are able to, we are going to make another layer. Okay. And I know this might seem like tedious process, but it's just how it goes. And so we're going to go make that second layer, but I'm going to go to the first layer where our drawing is. And if you are able to, you're going to want to lower the opacity down pretty dang low. Okay. Mine's at 21%.
I have to have it at like 37, otherwise I can't really see it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just throwing that information out there. All right, now I'm going to go back to my second layer and I'm going to go choose a different color, very opposing to the previous one. So I typically go for like orange or red. Okay, same brush, all that good stuff. What we're going to do now is clean up what we had. So okay. I'm going to start off with another circle over the same area. Let me just move this over. Oops, I had the wrong setting on. Here we go. Uniform, shrinky dinky a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to clean up what I don't like. So now I have a foundation to work off of. I know where I don't want things to go. I know where I do want things to go. So that's where I can clean it up. So I go back in. And I'm going to make it look, it's still going to look rough. We are not in what they would call the inking phase yet. This is not the definite thing. This is not the permanent. Okay. This is the next sketch. This is the cleanup portion.
So I want to have more here.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to lower her ear. I liked her ear, but for me, I'm going to lower it. Yeah, it's kind of cute. Okay. Yeah. You can make the thing about chibis too is like the corner of her cheek area, this section here, you can make it as pointy or as rounded as you want. This is personal preference because a lot of chibis have a really pointed cheekbone. Some people have it really smooth. Some people kind of have it in the middle. That's up to you. Okay, and I'm going to go back down and I'm going to clean up her body. Now for mine, I know that her torso and everything was actually too long. So I'm going to shorten it to where I think it should be. And again, you can see that I have like a really rough sketch going on, but you can see where I have it up higher. I'm cleaning the areas that I didn't like. How's it going with yours? I'm going to sneak peek on it. Okay, there you go. Now she does have, and this is again where it just comes down to practice. Her main cheekbone that's on for me, it's on the left side. It's rather square as far as bulky rather than cute or soft or feminine. So, oh, you're using mouse. That does make it a little bit more complicated. So I understand that being said. So you'll notice one of the things here is this like S kind of shape, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what you're going for. What you have at the moment seems to be more of kind of like this. I know it looks the same, but you notice where it's like this versus soft. Does that make sense? I mean, it kind of goes in and gracefully goes out. There is a reason for that too, because
I can't see what you're doing.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Hang on, exit solo mode. So you see how this is a nice soft shape like this.
Mhm.
Yours, oh, it's very small.
Well-
Yours is a little bit harsher, like so.
Okay.
So maybe soften up your line a little bit. Get it to where you think it looks good.
Oops.
I'm going to sneak in here a little bit. Yeah. You don't have to erase. It's actually beneficial to use the lines that you have. There you go. A little softer, a little cute. She's definitely looking a lot cuter now. Fantastic.
I couldn't see what I was doing, so I had to erase it.
Oh, okay. Okay. I understand. Well, it looks a lot cuter now. Do you see the difference in just the shape that you had versus what you have now? So this is a little bit more like advanced, if you will, sort of, even though we're doing caricatures. Especially if you look at our character reference here, you'll notice that she has, as they say, curves in all the right places. Obviously, God made us that way, but there's a reason. There's a reason why a lot of the women in anime, in TV commercials, they look like this. It's called like the S shape. And photography and things like that, women are often positioned in ways that show off their curves, and it makes them look softer, makes them look more feminine. So the same thing, even with something as simple as the cheek here.
Mm-hmm.
Softer cheek gives a softer appearance of the character. So even if you're doing, you'll notice when you look at chibis, you could be doing a samurai warrior, but he looks cute because he has softer edges, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just something to think about whilst you are, exactly, it makes us look gorgeous, right? So just something to think about whenever you're doing the curve of your chibi's cheek. There are some, like I said, that might have more angles, but it also makes a difference, like if they look a little bit more like Herman Munster versus a soft woman, or how big, you've got the cheekbones. Okay, so now I see, like I told you, that this arm was a little bit too long, so I'm going to adjust as necessary. This is, again, where I want you to kind of use your instincts. What looks right to you, what doesn't? And I know that gets a little bit nervous for some people, makes them a little bit nervous. It's okay. We've got our reference. We've got as far as what our sketch was before, so I'm just going to kind of see what was it that I did. What do I like? I kind of wanted her arm to come out a little bit, and I think I'm going to shorten it this way, and maybe I'll see if that looks better. Let me see. Her little mitten hands. It's a little bit better. I might round off her little mitten hands and make them curved like this. So she's kind of curving her hand like, oh my gosh. So that's one little way that you could do that. I'll zoom in here for you. And the other thing is too, especially when you're starting out, as long as what you've drawn is recognizable as whatever it was that you're going for, you have accomplished the goal. Like for this character at the end of it, if people can see that you drew Juvia, then that's the whole point. Now, whether or not it's a piece of art that you really like, or is it top tier artwork, is a whole other story. Because again, we talked about how there's different skill levels. You know, you have to develop your skills. But if you are drawing something and people can recognize it, that is half the battle. That is half the battle. All right. I'm going to go over here again. And I'm pretty happy with this arm overall.
This arm looks like she's on steroids on mine.
Yeah, there you go. See, and if you don't like it, then yeah, exactly. Then we go in and we soften it. We make it more dainty looking. Oops. So that's all of a sudden you'll start adding curves to things if you want it to look a little softer, a little cuter. 100%. Still think that this arm over here, I'm going to cheat and see if I can use this.
Now that arm looks really small.
There. Yeah, go back and forth. You play with it. Now remember, she's also going to be having clothing on top of this that's going to bulk and accentuate certain areas, so it's okay. And then I'm going to go, well, I'll wait for you. Let me know when you have your arms in a place that you're pretty happy with. We're going to kind of give her a little bit of a basic pose, but I wanted to be able to push Biggles around a little bit. And that's why we're doing the Barbie toe. It's not too difficult to do. It's just a thigh and it curves out. It's okay.
I think the arm's better now.
There you go. All right, let's have a sneaky peek. Yes. Yes, a lot more dainty. Oh, much better because I can still see the blue. And yeah, they were kind of a little gangly, a little outstretched. Very nice bringing it in a little bit. Gives a little bit of a curve too. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go to her body here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm pretty happy with how her legs turned out. I think it was that I had her torso too long. So I'm going to just do the parts that I like. We give her some legs. She's a pretty leggy gal, so. Appreciate everybody hanging out with Biggles and I as we are learning how to draw these here tabies. And do me a favor and hit the like and be sure to leave a comment either now or after the stream is over if you want to pop back in. It helps out with the algorithm as YouTube has decided to change the way that they do things yet once again and make it more difficult for people like Biggles and I to find success. But dare I say, we will try. And I appreciate the folks that have been reaching out on my reels and on my shorts. I've seen several of you have been out there leaving little mysterious comments as I asked. Thank you very much, Lee. Appreciate that. Of course. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, and I'm going to do the other side here. And again, you can see I've got some rough lines going on. I'm not too worried about them. The other thing is too, Biggles, when you're creating these things, it's like, what is the main thing, right? So when you look at our reference picture of Juvia, what do you, and you know, this is family friendly, but answer honestly, what is the main thing about Juvia when you look at her? What's like the most important thing? I say important thing, but the thing that makes her stand out.
She's blue.
She's blue. Very good. Okay, so color, super important. Now, when it comes to her shape, what's the most important thing that stands out?
She looks like a girl.
True. More specific.
She's got really long legs.
She does. Very, very true. She's got very. So I'll help break it down. I don't want to make it like a pop quiz, but she definitely has an hourglass shape, right? She's very big chested. She's got some nice hips and she's very leggy. So when you're doing a caricature of somebody, it is important to identify what is the most important part of her. I would say that one of the most important parts of Juvia is her hair. That seems to, when I looked her up for different references, that seems to be very iconic for her with these little flares and stuff like that. And then she does have a very curvaceous body. So, but would you say that her feet are the important part of her body?
No.
No, they're not something that people are really paying attention to. Why? Because I'm being very real here. The thing that you're probably spotting the first is between her eyes, her chest, and then her hips. Like you just kind of work your way down. They're kind of balanced out and they accentuate in just the right areas. And because you'll notice, Biggles, if you look at her outfit, you see all the buttons and bows and the cuffs and the color changes. How many colors are on her boots? One. And do you see any buckles or bells or whistles on her shoes?
No.
No. So when we're doing this kind of thing, you can pay as much attention to every detail as you want to, but nobody's going to really care about this because we're going to cover up some of it anyway. And the most important part is really this zone right in here. So I just want to throw that at you as well, that when you're on your artistic journey, especially as exactly, all right. I'm glad somebody said it and said it, respectfully. I appreciate that. That is definitely one of the things that is very catching about this character. She's very, very feminine in her physique. So that being said,
I always go to her hats.
Her what?
Her hats. Her first one that she has is a square, and her second one's always the puffy one. So,
well, and so that it's like there's different there's different levels of what is important. So you kind of started, it's kind of surprised me. You kind of started at a level that was like above the one that I thought you were going to talk about, was color. Like without the, it's kind of like even with Star Wars, I've heard them talk about this, that one thing about George Lucas's characters is that all of them, if you lit them from behind and they were just black shadows, pretty much all of the characters have a very standout silhouette. Is all about the shapes, standout characters. And this is actually super important when it comes to creating your own characters and animation and all of this stuff, is having your characters stand out when they have nothing but a solid color. Are they recognizable? So just throwing that out there. So that being, I want you to be able to focus on what is, the most important thing, which is not her feet. So if you're struggling with her feet, sometimes I do, or even with the hands, just a gentle reminder that they are not necessarily the most important part. Some people will hate, some people will not. So most people won't even notice. As an idea, I'm going to bring up this picture that I did of Gavin Castellagno and Sydney Sweeney. If you look at Gavin's hands, what in the AI nonsense is that?
Yes.
But
4 fingers.
Yeah, my characters always have 4 fingers. I never give them 5. But that's not what you notice right away, right? You notice the color, you notice the shapes. It's not the most important part. So I just want to throw that out there for you. If there's any time where you're looking at it and you're like, what is the most important part? Typically, it's the face, the costume, the colors. All right.
Yeah, because with Hiro Washima, who does Fairy Tale, like Lucy is blonde, Urza is red, Wendy is dark blue, Juvia is light blue.
Okay.
So it's the color scheme is the first thing I
well, good. I'm glad that you think like that, because it's super important. Okay. So we've cleaned up her physique and everything like that. I'm pretty happy with how that is looking right here. So I will do, now I am going to go to, if you're happy with the physique, now I'm going to go to my eraser tool and get rid of things like this portion of the body that would never be there, just to see, am I really happy with how this goes? Now, remember, women are very curvy, so, or at least they should be. So kind of leave some curves going on in there. And then I know that she has a cinched in waist. So what I'm also going to do, oops, I'm going to give her a little bit more of an hourglass, like so. And then erase the lines to help with that definition. I'm going to make her a Barbie girl. Definitely looks more female this way. Now, I want the chat to be respectful. Come on, we all know we're on Dreaming Tabitha. We're all adults here. We keep things PG, PG-13. We are going to be drawing the bust. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I will tell you that even as a female, it's hard. Some people are gifted, okay? They just know how to draw them. Tabitha struggles, okay? It's not my forte to draw women's chests. I don't know what it is. I'm getting better at it, but it's hard, okay? Because you got to make them look right. And when they're at a weird angle, it's hard. So over here, we've got, a nice figure. Everything's going okay, but she is missing an essential part of her particular physique. Now, of course, with chibis, you can draw them flat chested. It works just fine because with chibis, the main event really is the head because it's so ginormous. But we want to make her look a lot closer to the character as it is. Exactly. It's part of the anatomy. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't want people coming in my chat making all kinds of weird jokes and nonsense like that because we don't do that here. I mean, I'm not such a prude that, I can't handle a good joke, but I don't want people saying yicky things. All right. So one of the easy ways to do this, you don't want to just draw circles. Okay. Like that's not realistic. It doesn't work. And it's going to throw you way off. All right. So a lot of times, especially because our character she's not standing exactly like our reference. She's standing a little bit turned. Right. So it wouldn't be straight on. It's going to have a little bit of a curve to it. So I typically start with the outer portion here. Now, no judgment, Biggles. It's up to you how busty you want your character to be. But like so. So kind of like, I would like to say like maybe heavy bellied parentheses, right? Because they're not like this. This is not realistic. And then again, I know it's a chibi character, it's a caricature, but it does matter on the overall look. If you want it to look more professional looking, you're going to try it. So typically women's chest from the side, it's a little bit more of a dropped, like a heavy bellied parentheses is the best way I can describe it. A lot of people talk about water balloons. It's just had its water balloons where it's rounded, but because of the weight, it will go towards the bottom. So let me erase this so maybe we can see it a little clearer. You can always, add and take away, but it will kind of then curve up and go into the body here like so. And the hardest part is then making the other side match and look the same. This is where Tabitha struggles. I need some lessons with Makani draws, clearly.
He definitely knows how to draw them.
His are definitely a lot more exaggerated. Sometimes I look at them and like, ain't no way they be wearing that thing. But I'm like, but he got it. Like, so, no, Makani. So then I kind of zoom out and I'm like, okay, that'll do, pig. That'll do. I try not to.
Based on how you're doing it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
so because she's again
looks funny.
Yeah, exactly. Because she is again turned. It's not going to be like this perfect circle. It's not going to be totally lifted up or whatever. You got to buy tape for that. But guys won't know. They have no idea what I'm talking about. Maria probably does. But yeah, so you don't want it to be an exact, otherwise it won't look very that's good. That's good. I will say the top portion of yours over here, make the curve smoother. Again, with females, it's all about nice, smooth edges. So just kind of round that slope up so it's not such a harsh line. That's very much the difference when it comes to drawing cartoon characters of males and females. You'll notice that most of the males have a lot harder edges. They're a lot more clean cut in a lot of the places because it makes them look bulkier, more masculine. So with the female, you want it to be a nice, smooth slope, nice curves. Maria's over here laughing.
Wait, is that better? Are those better?
That's
So
better.
okay.
That is better. Yes. Yes. Nice. Good. I made my gal a little bit thicker. You know, some people like a little meat on the bones. You know what I'm saying? There we go. We'll make her a little more cinched. All right. All right. So good. We got this character going on. And I think I'll make her arm a little bit now that I'm backed out. I'll make her arm a little more narrow, give her that girliness. And then I will go up here into the ear. I'm going to clean that out too. This part is almost like a break for your mind because you know you're focusing so much on the details that when you can go in and erase the things that are easy, it's like a little bit of a breather for the brain. Like, I can do this. I don't have to overthink this. This is not complicated. Okie day. All right, we got a cute little character. And then if like I would compare her to our first one, you can see quite a few changes were made, a lot of improvements. And that's the whole reason that we do our sketching first. Just to see. Now, here's where the fun part comes in. The face. All right, so I am going to make a second layer for the face because I really like what I already have. So I'm going to make a second layer for the face. Now, the reason that we leave this bottom portion of the circle is that can give us an idea of where like over here. It can give us an idea of where maybe the eye line can be, and it also gives us an idea of where the mouth can go. So
don't we usually want to line up the eyes with the ears?
That depends on, that is definitely when it comes to realism, 100%. When it comes to caricatures, that's kind of loose. It depends on how specific. Now, given the fact that we're going to be covering up her ear, it's not quite as important, but you definitely can use the ear as a guideline, especially when you're doing it in realism, because a lot of people don't know this, but when you're drawing people, like your eyebrows actually line up with the tops of your ears, and your earlobes will line up with the bottom of your nostrils. And that is actually one way to know how old somebody is by their earlobes. Because as we get, unless you are a unique individual who has the unusual larger or lower hanging or lower positioned ears, you might notice that some children might look like this. Or again, a younger person has their earlobes that actually go below their nostril line. And it looks very strange because typically people's earlobes line up with their nostrils. As we get into our 50s and stuff like that, it's also depending on how heavy your earrings are that you wear regularly, you'll notice that they start getting longer. And that's one way to know somebody's age. So even if you're really beautiful and youthful looking, look at somebody's neck and then you look at somebody's earlobes, and that's one way to know how old they are. Anyway, so here we go. Eyes. Wow. All right. We can use her eyes as a wonderful reference. So a lot of times when it comes to these eyes, I typically start with the eye that's going to be right here. So I usually start with this eye and I'll follow over with this one, right? So let's see. The shape that she has, it's kind of like this. Now, a little bit like a Spider-Man mask here. Let me see what I can do with this. There we go. Got the curve. She's kind of got to eye something like this. I had a student that did have big earlobes. Her mom gave her 2 earrings from the get-go. Oh my. Yeah. Yeah, it weighs down the earlobe, so it can make you look older faster. A lot of people don't think about that when they wear their jewelry. That's why I really don't wear heavy jewelry, because I'm afraid of the granny lobes. That's right. Afraid of the granny lobes. All right. Now, we don't want her to look angry. I know that she can look kind of angry right now, but we'll fix that eventually as we go. And one way to keep the eyes easy is that we can just make them look over that way. But I usually do the pupils later. So we could make her just kind of give that bombastic side eye over there if we so chose. And then I'm going to go ahead and so that I know what kind of an expression she has. I'm going to kind of do her eyelashes already. That is the one thing on a woman that we want sharp and crisp. We want so pointy and stabby that you could kill your neighbor with it if you had to. Yeah. Oh, she was born that way. Fascinating. All right. And this was just kind of the place where I tend to play around with the makeup, like what looks good, what doesn't, kind of, oops. Makeup always being the one thing that women enjoy. And I will kind of color it in just to be like, okay, what will this look like? And if I don't like it, maybe perhaps I think that the eyelashes are too thick. So without having to go sketch over everything, I just go into my eraser and I just redefine them as needed. And I can always fill them in a little more if I need to. And this is supposed to be the part where you just kind of play around with it because you're customizing your character. Like, does it look close enough? Does it look good enough? Is it big enough? All that. We can if we wanted to. Uh-oh, my Apple Pencil's starting to die. Did I not charge this? All right. If we wanted to, we could put a pupil there just to give ourselves an idea of what it could look like. But that's up to you. We do have a cute little cheek right there. And then over here, the eye is going to be slightly different because if you would turn your head like this, obviously my eyes are the same size or the same shape or whatever, right? But if I turn my head slightly, it looks like my other eye over here is now a different shape. So we're not going to we're not going to do the same thing, obviously, right? So we have to adjust for that. So going over here, give a little bit of a space, give a little whistle, kind of the same thing, and just like so. And a little bit of a curve right here. And we can just throw an eyelash out there just to see if it kind of aligns with what we did. That went a lot faster and easier than I thought it was going to be because this is one of the harder parts for Tabitha. Let me check in over here.
We go to line.
Let's have a look. Nice eyelashes. So your second eye needs to be open a little bit more. It's a little bit squat, so it needs to be open just a little bit more. Don't be afraid of making some roundness in there.
Like that.
And then I would say it needs to be a little bit more, what's the word that I am looking for? So let me go over here. Your eye was kind of a jelly bean, like so, right? Versus it kind of needs to have, a cutoff point. So it's kind of that shape without the excess over here. Does that make sense? Hang on. Let me try that again. So I'm going to duplicate my eyes really quickly, and I'm going to do this. So your eye was kind of like this, right? So you want it to be more like this, as far as pushed together. There you go. Yeah, that's good. That's a good eye right there. Good shape. Good shape. I know, right, Maria? Kudos to Biggles for using a mouse. I remember those days. It's rough.
I mean, I have this, but I can't share it very well. So,
well, and so if you ever get around to using a tablet, you'll find that this is a much easier situation. All right.
Yeah, because when I was practicing last night with the sketch you gave me, I was like spinning it around, and I don't know how to spin this around, so it's easier to like draw everything up and down rather than
100%.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, give me just about like 3 minutes to charge my little thing here. taking just a quick break, we can kind of look back at our character to assess. It's like, oh, it's coming along. It looks like a female because she has it. I will say that for yours, your eyelashes need to be up higher. They need to meet the top of your eye.
Oh yeah, that was on my old eye before you said I had to open it more.
Okay, yeah. See, so you already knew that. You're already working towards that, which is perfect. Now, I was talking to you about this behind the scenes before we started the show. I am not an anime person. Not that I don't enjoy some, like Death Note and The Finding Neverland and Attack on Titan, but I have no idea who Juvia is. You know, you said she was like a fairy thing, and I was like, oh, I'm so excited. I love fairies. And then I found out it's not exactly fairies.
She's in the wizard guild called Fairy Tale.
Oh,
and one of the
disappointment.
Yeah, but so Juvia is introduced in like I think episode 35, and Fairy Tale is in a war with the Wizard Guild Phantom Lords, and Juvia was one of the Elemental Four, which are their 4 strongest wizards, and Juvia was this sad, depressed character. Now you see how happy she looks in this reference.
Yeah.
Well, her element is water, and as she would walk, she would have rain clouds above her, and she was always like miserable.
Oh.
And then she fought Gray, who is an ice wizard. So ice and water, you know, the same element. One's just frozen.
Right.
And after fighting, Juvia falls in love with Gray, and for about 300 episodes, she chases after Gray.
Girl,
Gray,
get you a new man.
And
300 episodes.
Hey, she gets her man, okay? And in 100 Year Quest, which is the sequel, his whole motivation is making her happy, because in one of the fights
he better.
Yeah. Well, one of the fights she got a scar because he wasn't able to protect her. So like he's trying to prove that he's good enough and he can protect her in like the whole 100 Year Quest. But Juvia is the funniest character. Like once you get her, like Gray accidentally touches her butt at one point, like a complete accident. I think he falls and accidentally touches it, and she goes into this little chibi form, and she's like, as like a little chibi worm, she's just like, he touched my hiney, and like, it's like all red, and it's one of the gifs I use all the time. Is just that version of
I'll have
Juvia.
to pay attention to that on Twitter when you're out and about. RizKid says my favorite feature of digital art is the ability to erase. You can do that in the real world too.
I'm awful with an eraser. That's why I like digital.
Yeah, but there's something special about the pen, the paper. Okay, so we got a little more insight to Juvia. Okay, that's helpful. All right, I'm gonna I am thankful that Apple Pencils charge really quickly. I was at 20%. I'm already at 51.
Perfect.
Okay, so let me just try to see if I can make these eyes match a little bit here, something like that. So we've got, oh, hang on a second, my bad. We got something like this going on. And I think this needs to be a little bit thicker just to match the other side. So something like this. Now, again, we're not in the inking stage. This is basically round 2 of fleshing it out. I practice on digital, so it counts on paper. There you go, Rizkit. Does it work that way? I tell you, Rizkit, the funniest thing is that I've been doing digital for so long now that I tried to do traditional. And when I made a mistake, my hand automatically reached up to push the button of backspace. And my brain glitched because it's like, I can't do this. And then I was a little bit upset because like, this is so much work having to manually erase everything. I hear you though. Yeah. Not my proudest moment, and that's happened more than once. It's terrible. All right, so if we like our character, if we got our eyes, we're doing okay, right? We're doing all right. We like what we've got so far. We can tell it's a woman.
I hope so.
Okay. Well, I
think
need you to be
maybe.
able to look at yours and say, yeah, I kind of like this. I kind of like. Now, remember, this isn't the final stage. She's not her final form. And then we're just going to give her like a really cutesy, simple nose like that. Hey, yeah. So
I have to.
simple.
I don't know how to fix this part.
Which part? That one?
Her hips, trying to
Okay.
make it.
Right here. So what happens, what I will tell you right there, Biggles, what you have, let me get a different color, maybe one that matches to yours a little bit. Let me see. Does that look different? Okay. I'm going to put a second layer. So what I see with your character is that you have given yours a belly and then you've got it joining out like this. Okay. So do you see the difference between mine and yours? Is that underneath, we're just going to call a spade here. Underneath the breast is immediately where it's going to start going into the waistline. This thing right here, right?
So it's too far out.
So yeah, right underneath. Remember we talked about those slopes. Do you see that? I'm going to switch this really quickly so it's a little bit more. Here we go. Do you see this part right here is where kind of like we talked about with the cheek and then also with this portion of the bust that we worked on last time. So you want to come down and in. Nice soft curves and then you're going to come out into a curve of the hips. Very important. Just soften it out. So like I said, let me get rid of that. So underneath of the breast and you come in, cinch the waist, but don't make, corners. You make curves and then come out for hips.
So like a S.
Yes. You're basically using the S maneuver for a lot of the female body. Exactly, Risket, like an elongated S with the top of the letter as the breast.
Like that?
There you go. That looks good. Now her hip needs to be smoothed out. So you've done that. You need to come out and curve down just like that. Just continue on. They make that joke where women are like this, right? So that's what you need to, like a vase. You just got to think of it like that. So curve it down. And so now what you're doing is you're slanting out. So you don't have to have her hips come out that far, but you are making her hips come out way too far to come down. So this is what you've got so far. Just slightly curved down. Okay. But drag it out. So what you're doing is you're coming out and then going down, right? What you want to do is come down and drag it out like that. Like drag it out and come down rather. Like a nice long parentheses. Instead of what you're doing is coming out like this and then going down.
Like that?
That's a lot better. Let me look at it. If you're able to smooth out that one corner that you have there a little bit more, just bring it down. Give her some hips. It's okay. Just curve that thing down. Do you see that she's got her buttocks on the other side? Kind of make her hip match that shape. Because you're basically erasing any kind of hip that she has on her left side there. Yeah, go down just a little bit. It's getting better. I know it's not the easiest thing. That's the thing too. A lot of artistry is just it's observation, figuring out what looks like what, where goes where. You're getting better at it. But see, now what you've done is given her a belly right here. So you have to. So maybe what would be helpful? Remember that I can see it on yours. You see this line that we made here originally? Those are her hips. You're putting her hip up here on her belly.
Well, this is where I moved her hips to, I think.
Yeah, But, no, that's where her waist is.
Oh.
Do you see that where you have it on the right side? You see where that corner is, and then it goes into her backside or her hip? That's what you're going for. So you're going to come down like this. Okay, because what you're doing is coming over and then coming down. Yes, that's better. It's getting better. Yes, 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 yes. There you go.
I gotta shrink this part a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't forget to give her a waist. What this is, I mean, maybe I know that sometimes this really helps people. I'm gonna go to this color. When you look at a woman, this is the typical shape. Hang on, let me make this bigger. This is the typical shape of a woman. That's why they call it the hour. Not all women, but typically this is what you're looking for. I don't know if that helps. And you use that, you would round out these sides to make your person, if that makes any sense. This is what we would call a traditional or typical or ideal is what they call it, ideal woman. Does that kind of help?
So, hold on, let me set that glass.
Yeah, she looks better. She looks a lot more bodacious than she did. Excellent. Let me get back to
Close enough.
yes.
Okay.
Much better. And this is again where it's practice because I've been trying to study anatomy. I've been trying to study different things. Leonardo da Vinci, I believe it was him, used to sit out in like this town square and just watch people and watch how their muscles moved as they were interacting with the world around them. So, you think about the artwork that he created and where he started, See, Risket says it's looking good, Biggles. It's looking like a lady. All right, so we've got her nose. Did you get her nose?
Oh, no.
What?
I forgot women have noses.
What? We were so focused on her hips that Biggles forgot women have noses. Typical, dude.
Most of the chibis I see that they don't even draw the nose.
Exactly. This is my style. So as you develop yours, if you want to prefer not to have a nose, you don't have to have a nose. And we're going to keep her mouth really simple as well. Let me make sure this is on the right thing. And I'm going to try to find like the corner of her eye here and use it as a drop down to give me something of an idea of where her mouth could go. Now it's up to you what kind of mouth you want to give her. I'm going to do this nice little feather here. Just kind of like that. She looks happy. Women appreciate having a nose. Amen to that. I'm sorry, what?
Gray must be around if Juvia's happy.
There. Oh, yep. See, there you go. She's like, here's looking at you, kid. Okay. All right. This is an amazing start to our character. I hope you're happy with it. I can see yours. She's looking good. She's looking good. You can always clean her up in different places. I am going to grab my eraser tool and I'm, oops, too big. I'm going to get rid of these, unnecessary lines here. Just to help me see the full picture and be like, yes, indeed, I do like. Okay. She sees her man. Exactly, Maria. She sees her man. All right. I'm going to get rid of our original sketch underneath. But I'm not going to get rid of it. But I'm just going to, you can't see it anymore. Risket says, I wonder how much sense of taste you would lose without sense of smell. For real, Risket. Faux shizzle. I knew a lady at a church I used to go to during, the 2020 era. And she had gotten the side effect of COVID where she lost her sense of taste, was it? And so it was like weird when she would smell. One thing lends to another. It was terrible. It's terrible. I don't know if she ever got that back. I had some friends that had that too, where they lost their sense of smell, and it came back. And then this lady, it's been a couple of years since I've talked to her, or since that happens. I don't know if she ever got it back. I know a bunch that had changes in taste. Yep. All right, Biggles. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create another layer. You ready for this?
Yes.
We're nearing the final stretch. It's a long stretch, but it's a final stretch. I'm going to get another color. I'm just going to stick with my purple here. I think we can see that pretty good.
Purple. Okay.
Lost my sense of smell, lost it and got it back. Yeah, it happened to a lot of people. This is our foundation, Biggles. So once you have your character and you like the way that her body is shaped or his, you like basically the position that your character is in, then you can go on to add all the stuff that you want. And it's up to you how fancy you want to be. With Juvia, with the little chibi that I did, we want to get our iconic things like the hat, the hair, stuff like that. And you did say that she has different outfits and whatever. But now that you have this sketch, you can do whatever you want with her as far as clothing and things like that go. How do you feel with the process thereof of getting to this point?
It's pretty good.
Like, do you think if you were going to create another character, like if we had all the time in the world, I would say, all right, let's get rid of it and let's start over, but we don't have all, just to see what you retained. But using those steps, do you think that will help you in your process?
Yeah.
Like, can you see the benefit of starting with a really ugly sketch and then drawing on top of it?
Mm-hmm.
Good. That's super important. All right. So I got my new layer and we're going to go back here. And now we're just going to put whatever it is that we want on her. I am going to start with her hat and kind of like work my way down because hair is kind of a weakness for me, but I don't want to have to draw a whole bunch of hair and then figure out how to put her hat on top of it. So I'm going to rotate my thing here. You can make the ruff however you want it. Oh, I did forget one thing. It's a super important thing, Biggles. I'm so sorry. Her eyebrows. Now, fortunately, they're not really big. So you can just kind of do this. And we have her eyebrow. She doesn't really have like big eyebrows. She literally has like the 1930s pencil eyebrows. So super easy. And depending on how her eyebrows are around her face will also dictate her expression. So just throwing that out there. That's something that you have to learn as you go along as well.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to get this. And I'm just going to make a band across her forehead. I see that she's kind of got a bigger forehead. So I'm going to do this and just kind of play with that. Because again, her ears are going to disappear when we put the hair around it. But I just want to see. This is going to do a rough sketch of her hat here. So let's just see what we've got. I'm not the best at drawing clothing. So that's why we do the rough sketch. So we're going back to rough sketches, people.
It makes you feel better. I don't know how to draw clothing.
Good. We're going to we're going to learn today. So I know one of the things too is like when you're drawing these things, it will look super ridiculous because they don't have any hair. And a lot of times when they're not fully rendered, it's hard to, but it's the way they say trust the process because you kind of have to put everything there before it really starts making sense. It's just the name of the game. And she's got this puffy hat. It's kind of like a mushroom shaped thing I noticed when I was drawing her the first time. And then when I have a basic shape, that's when I go in and erase a little bit because some of the lines throw me off and I can always clean up what I need. I'm not really sure. I might lower this a little bit. I think that might help. Something like this. Maybe this needs to be a little fluffier.
So should I add more sketch to it?
How do you think it looks? Does it look like what you want it to look like?
Looks like it would be the right shape of the hat.
Okay, trust your instincts here. You know this character better than I do. All we're doing is a really simple shape. So that's what I'm saying. I'm going to try to help you trust your instincts because I can only teach you so far. If you don't know how to identify the problem yourself, then that will make it difficult in your future endeavors. So when you look at your character's hat, do you think it's the right shape when you look at your reference?
Yes.
Okay. I will let you know that the left side of her hat doesn't exactly match the right side. You have a much stronger incline or angle on one side versus the other. So perhaps you want to make that match a little bit more. Now, I don't know if you are able to, like what I do, when I have a layer, I have an arrow button that shows me the entire thing here, and I can actually rotate the whole piece. I don't know if you're able to do that. That will save you from having to draw a lot of stuff, so maybe you can figure that out. Oh, okay, you can do it. So maybe play around with that and see if there's a different angle that looks better, nicer. That's
Well,
pretty
her
good.
head was turned, so I figured
Yeah. Tell me your
it would,
thoughts.
it would be like a little bigger on this side than that side.
Very possible. Yes, that's a good way to think, because like I guess you could look at my headset and obviously it looks like it's smaller on this side because it's further away from the camera. Way to use the little gray cells. All right, so I got myself a hat. Now, Biggles, I will let you know. I've said this already. Hair is not my strong suit. I am learning, but what many professional artists have told me as they've tried to help me along in my journey is that when it comes to hair, you want to draw the full shape, not the individual strands. I'm still working on that, but from what I could tell with Juvia, is that she, like I said, she has these weird little flip out thingies, and then it's just kind of like this. Like these are very important pieces. So I'm not drawing individual strands. Like I said, you know this character more than I do. Now this is where I say her ear is going to disappear. And I'm probably going to make this a little bit bigger. I want to try to help you out a little bit here. Cover up her ear. We're going to give her bangs and everything like that as well, but that in due time. Now, see, you're doing the same thing that you did with your hip. So I wonder, this is not a slight in any way. It's more of like the way our brains process. You seem to be doing inverted shapes. So I noticed that you're trying to, like, I guess, copy me and copy her. You were going, like, you had this piece here, and then for some reason you went out instead of in. Totally fine. But I've done this before myself. So you want to go in rather than out, because you were doing the same thing with her hip where you were coming out and then going down. So it's the same thing with her hair. We're going out and then coming in and then out again. And also it could just look like a blusterous day. So it's really no wrong way. And then the hair kind of comes out again here. And I gotta say, I had the hardest time when I was doing her hair. Hair's a fickle thing. I don't want it to look like it's on fire.
One of the main reasons why I draw, like when I try to draw guys, is because then I can just draw a line on their head and just be like, hey, they have a buzz cut.
Exactly. I know, but we have to learn to, this is my thing. It's like, I have to learn to grow outside of my comfort zone. So I'm just going to give Juvia kind of a cutesy, ootsy hairstyle. It doesn't have to be the exact one, but again, as long as we can tell who this character is, if we can play around with it, it's totally fine. You can get the gist of it on there and then zoom out and be like, I like the way this looks. I don't. And then she does tend to have like these bang things. So we want to make sure that we're true to bangs. Let's see. So there you go. Nice hair. There you go. I'm giving her a little bit more of like the spikes, it looks like. I know they kind of like are turned in a little bit more. That's okay. It's something that I'm working on. It's the practice that I'm seeking. I do prefer doing guys' hair more than women's hair, but that's just because I wish I could do women's hair. But I'm working on it. It is what it is. I think she's cute. Now, something that you can do to help you out, I'm going to take my main layer. I am going to duplicate it and then get rid of, as far as unsee the first layer. I don't know if you're able to do that. And I am going to erase the red parts that are going to be covered up by her hat and her hair. Like, so for example, at the top portion here, I'm going to get rid of her headline. This is going to tell me if I'm on the right track. So I'm going to get rid of her ear and anything that's inside of her hair, basically.
So for me, any of the orange inside the hair or the hat.
I'm sorry, one more time.
So for me, any of the orange inside the hair or the hat.
Yes, yes. Any of the lines that are from our original piece that are inside the hair and the hat. So even now, one thing I will notice that you don't have this problem, but I've noticed in anime sometimes they cheat and they have like the eyebrows or the eyelashes going through the hair. I'm going to do that because I'm going to leave that because it's an important part of who she is with her eyelashes and stuff like that.
Yeah, they what they do is they lower the opacity when they're coloring it.
Yes.
And yeah. I know that trick. I do that.
You know that trick at least. All right. We got our hair. We've got all that. You good to go?
Hold on, I forgot to do the bangs.
Oh, yeah, okay. Chat, how you doing? Hope you're having a great Friday. Any plans for the weekend? Working hard for the weekends? I might game. I'm not really sure. But I'm going to have a good weekend. Maybe get some ice cream. I don't know. Something. And Maria is gaming tomorrow. What are you gaming? What are you doing? Zelda. Oh, pish. That's fine. That's fine. Nature and paint walk. Ooh, you sound like you have like one of the best weekends ever planned, Maria. Okay. As we're moving along with the hair and everything, we're gonna go into the body now. And I'm gonna just make her bow. It's just gonna be super simple by doing a little circle right here, oval, and just doing a simple bow like this.
This is still the same layer as the hair.
Yeah, it's still the same purple layer. What do you mean posh? Not posh. I said pish. Big difference between posh and pish. It is forever a great game. I'm just upset that you're not willing to play a game with your friends, Maria. That's all. I'm just upset. I'm just bitter. Okay.
It's okay. I'm also playing a single player game tomorrow.
Wow. It's like you guys don't even like your friends. I'm gonna go ahead and finish off her bow like this. Fine. What do you mean pish? I said what I said. So we got her bow. And then she's got these like rough things. Now I didn't do that with up here in her hat, but I figure when we do the inking process, we can do the little furry things, around it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with her here. Just kind of create a really weird furry thing. It's going to cover up some of her face. It's going to cover up a little bit of her arm. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. You're down for gaming? Oh. Maybe we'll play some. Oh, wait, Maria, I forgot. It depends on what time because I am supposed to be in the back rooms, escaping the back rooms with
my captain.
with Biggles as captain. So I have to see. I have to see when you're free. If not, we will find the time. We will. Maybe Maria and I need to have a one-on-one golf face-off. That's what we Mad Dog Conroy says, is that guy biggling you? Nah, hardly. All right, so we've got the bow and everything. I'm going to come down to the arms. We're going to just go ahead and make that rough, fluffy stuff here. Nothing too fancy because, again, we want to maintain the importance of what is important. So the rough things around her wrists are not important, so they don't need to necessarily. We want them to look nice, but they're not the essential part to our character. This right here is the most important part. This little window right here is the most important part of our picture. So I got that taken care of. And she's got like this. So hanging low on the hips, I'm going to do a line like this. Are you good?
I hope so.
Well, I just, as far as like, I'm not going too fast, am I? I do know that I need to be
No.
like a step ahead of you thereabouts. So, all right, I'm just going to do something simple. I'm not the best with fabric either. So I'm going to draw this little disc over here. And I kind of just like do this weird sash like this. Nothing fancy. Get rid of the hair that's in there. And I will bring this across to the other side like so. Let me clean that up a little bit better. My bad. There we go. Just kind of wraps it around the hip. Oh, so now you're a busy lady. I know, Maria. I know. I gave like this big speech and outrage, and I'm not even available. I'm so sorry. My bad. Nomi has to keep reminding me that I have plans on Saturday nights, and I'm so sorry. All right. So then we're going to go back in here. She has this vest. So I just make this little pyramid, and I'm going to go up over here, and we're going to wrap this over this way. And I will do a little bit of a curved line like this. What times are you available tomorrow, Maria? Speak to me. And then she's got these like buttons. So I just kind of like put them up here. Something like this. She's got them over to the side. Yes, I know they look somewhat suggestive, but that's what she's got. So that's what we're doing. They're just buttons. Okay. Let me know when you've got all that.
I got all that.
All right. So now this is the best part. If we're not too thrilled with this leg, the best part about this character is we get to cover it up. So I'm going to go from this little corner over here, right? And just kind of swoosh. Well, that looks terrible.
Swoosh.
Swoosh. Like that. There we go.
Swoosh.
Swoosh. Sometimes it helps to make the noise. You're free at midday until 3 or 4-ish. Okay. So there we go. Yeah, that covers up half of our leg there, so we don't have to worry about it. It goes right across. We're very, very happy about that.
Gotta fix it up. So I gotta fix right here.
Absolutely.
It's not it's not covering her whole leg.
All right. Adjust it for as needed. Because my character is going to be slightly different from yours, you will need to adjust whatever it is that I'm telling you according to your character.
Well, if you look at the reference, that whole part is covered with clothing. So if the swish isn't covering it, then I'm doing it wrong.
That's not true. Remember that fabric moves. Yours just might be caught in a different wind.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to think about it like that too. Can't just be thinking that it's always stagnant, you know. You'll be free from 8-ish onwards. Okay. I'll have to see, Maria, because I know I got to go to the grocery store tomorrow morning. And then in the evening time is when I'm in the back rooms running for my life. So we'll talk. We'll figure something out, Maria. All right, so we got that, and then her boot is a thigh-high boot, so I'm just going to draw a line like this, and we won't even have to draw the rest of her boot because it's pretty much there, unless you want to do like the sole of her boot, kind of like that. Just like that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let me draw this so that way it's darker so we can see that. Just kind of keeping it simple. And then, is that it? Let me just double check around. I think that's it for our character. So
the thing on her leg
yes.
is also very important to this character because it's her.
Oh, her tattoo thing?
Well, so it's not really a tattoo. What it is, it's a mark that you are in your wizard guild.
Okay.
And when
Well,
you leave the wizard guild, it disappears.
okay. Well, the only thing is, and I totally understand and respect that about this character. So my only thing is like, if it's not exact, you don't got to worry about it. Like we could always do it like, over here. I'm just, or again, it's like trust the science, but it's like for real. If it's on this particular portion of her thigh, well, then this thing here is blocking it. So we won't be able to see it anyway. That's not to say that it's not there. It's just that something is covering it up. But if it's really important, then you can always erase this and then, just have it kind of like, out to the side doing whatever it's doing. I'm not good with the fabric, so I just have to. Let's see. I'm trying to think.
I just drew the parts that I could see. So like it's just a little, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I want you to be happy with it. So once we get all that taken care of, I think we have all of her details. So I'm going to go back to my red layer or the drawing underneath, and I'm going to get rid of all of the red lines that are underneath her clothing or her hair. So like, for example, this, we won't be able to see that, or this over here. Going to get rid of this red part right here. Whoops, let me lower that. Because we are almost done and about to do our inking. I'm not going to get rid of her hand, though. That's important. So I need to go over here to the purple part and erase the part that went through her thumb. We're almost there, Biggles. Now, it might seem like a really long process. We're actually making amazing time. Typically, it can take me an hour and a half, same as about right now. Depending on the character, it can take me about an hour and a half to sketch out my chibi. Sometimes I'm lucky and it takes a half hour, but it's pretty typical. My average is about 5 to 6 hours from start to finish for a chibi, unless I keep it super simple and it just comes to me. Like the Sydney Sweeney one that I did, if I want to quickly, let me go here. Where'd she go? Where's Sydney at? Oh no, what did I do with her? Uh-oh. Where'd she go? Let me see. Well, I was gonna showcase Sydney. There she is. Let me look at this really quickly. My Sydney Sweeney and Gavin Castlelegg. No, the entire thing took me almost 6 hours, and that was for 2 fully colored, fully rendered chibis. So sometimes it just depends. It just depends. Oops, wrong one. There we go. All right, I am on the layer here. I'm erasing. Let me get rid of that. And I think, let me get rid of this. Anything that's under the purple line, unless it doesn't make sense. Here we go. Exactly, Maria. It's like if it's a really strong inspiration, like it doesn't take me hardly any time. Like it just comes, it just flows. It's really irritating because it's never really with the ones that I want the most. But that's just how we roll in the Shire, right? And I I couldn't care two farthings about Sydney Sweeney, but somehow that piece just came to fruition as fast as it could. And I mean, I'm not mad about it. It is a little bit frustrating because the ones that I really care about, it's like, why can't that happen faster? But here we go. When the muse comes, she comes in a whirlwind. Exactly. All right. So, Biggles, whenever you have all that taken care of, then we're going to make another layer. And I'm going to lower the opacity of all of these, just like we did with the blue, just so we can see it. And we're now in the inking phase. You can use whatever color you want for the inking phase. Most people obviously use black, but it is kind of fun to use a different color. And like in Disney's Aladdin, Aladdin oftentimes is outlined in purple, or at least half of them is. So that's kind of cool. So I think for Juvia, I'm going to choose brown. I don't know why. Kind of want to use
boots are brown.
Yeah, I kind of want to use the brown, but I'm thinking like, will that look good in her hair? But I could always change that. Maybe, you know what? I'm going to go with a bluish purple kind of color. That's what I'm going to do. Bluish.
Now for inking, do I use ink pen?
Yep, we're going to switch our brush over to some kind of inking pen. I myself use syrup. I don't know why it's called that, but I myself use syrup. You're happy with your progress? Good, Maria. I'm happy for you. Hey, it's DL Tabitha. I really like your YouTube shorts. They're always chock full of information that I did not. Yeah, I'm trying something new with the channel. I did get a little bit overwhelmed with different things about the channel. And I'm going to have to really assess where I want this channel to go, because I have a lot that I want to bring to you guys. And that's always been in my heart that I want to come out. But YouTube is a competitive sport. And it's difficult. Like, you know, I'm kind of in the conundrum that a lot of creators are in, where there is no growth per se. There's a lot of growth and there's not. And so learning how to pay attention to which numbers are actually important for your channel and not getting caught up in the prestige is where I'm at right now. And just wanting to create quality content that I can do and not get burnt out on while I work on the actual important projects that have been on my heart for a couple of years now. Because at the end of the day, I kind of had to have a talk with myself today where it's like, what do you want to do with the channel? It's like, well, I like what I'm doing right now, but it takes away from the time from doing the things that I really want to do. And ever since I was 11 years old, all I've ever wanted to do was write stories and make the artwork for my stories. So I feel like I'm definitely on the path to get there. It's just time management. And it's kind of a gamble because YouTube is all about self-marketing. And that's definitely an area where I don't shine. But if I don't create content, I can never be found. So it's all about that. But anyway, find the right size pen that you want. That one's obviously too big. I do like to change the size of my pen for whatever's closest to me. I will do in bigger lines, but that's up to you depending on how fancy you want to get. And so now we're just going to go over everything that we did. Now, remembering that we need to put the fuzzy stuff on the hat, I'm just going to go ahead and get that out of the way. I'm not going to take it too seriously because it's just supposed to be the gist. We don't want it to take away from her beautiful eyes and all that kind of stuff. So to see really quickly, just got that out. Looks fluffy, all that stuff. You're just about to bounce out? Well, we're near the end here, but I'm going to go ahead and start. We're just... Now's like the fun part. Now's the fun part where it all just kind of cometh together. You know, it's been a long day. I hope it's been a good day, Maria. It's been a good day. Oh, I've got an itch in my ear. Hang on.
Yeah, but you were talking about having to grow your channel. So I basically switched up like everything I've been doing and just doing recaps of animes and trying to put my own little spin on it. I had one short hit 30K, so that was really cool.
Good for you. Yeah, shorts used to be where it's at, but dude, I'm telling you, it's rough. It's rough sailing out there. I finished watching ROTS and then watching you. BOTS.
I don't know what that is either.
Well, Maria, I told you, you can't be overlapping your video games with your art. It confuses YouTube. And
Yep.
also consistency is a thing. It's a grind. I mean, you know Danny, she's been working her little tush off and it's paying off, but it's hard and slow going because things have changed drastically with YouTube now. It's such a competitive market. And you got to be creative with your stuff, but you also just have to be consistent. I'm preaching to the choir, like myself, so don't think that I'm like poking directly at you. It's like a hard thing that I had to learn and I had to accept for myself. Like, what do you really want out of this? Still working OBS. I hear you. Revenge of the Sith. Oh, I got you. Okay. Rots. My least favorite Star Wars film. I said what I said. Don't come for me.
No, that means of the 6 that are real, right?
Right, of course. George Lucas's Star Wars. Obviously, Revenge of the Sith is still better than, a lot of other stuff. But Biggles, what are you making? Looks like the thing growing under my bed. Ah, what? Biggles is doing a great job.
It's just my face right now.
Is that the thing that's growing under his bed?
Why am I under your bed?
That's a very good question.
He's just mean to me. We go to cons together and stuff.
Oh, were we at the con? Was he the other guy that I met?
No, he goes to cons everywhere, but he's never come with me to MegaCon. And then we have a con that we go to that's like the week after MegaCon, and that's the one I usually spend the most money at. So I can't afford MegaCon.
I hear you.
Unless my channel somehow blows up and I'm able to make money.
I got you.
Which I highly doubt that. So
hey, it could happen. I know it sounds like a cat poster, but you gotta believe. Lego movie? Anybody? No, just me. Okay. See ya, Maria. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Yeah, it's not the word. I like George Lucas's Star Wars. Like, I know everybody's all big on Hayden Christensen and whatever, and everybody's like, stop hating on Hayden. He didn't know and blah blah blah. You know what? I don't care. I have no aught against Hayden Christensen. I cannot stand the wussy Anakin Skywalker. I like the teen heartthrob who's completely hormonal and irrational. It's not for me. Padme should have known better. Okay, I'm sorry. Padme should have known.
Well,
better.
She was the one hitting on us. What was he, 9? A 9-year-old?
She wasn't hitting on him. How is that hitting on him?
Just kidding.
Like, what are we talking about? Biggles. What?
Seducing him? No, I'm just kidding. I'm always
if anything, he was always the flirt. Are you an angel?
I know.
They grow up, they live on the moons of Viego, I think. They're supposed to be the most beautiful creatures in the galaxy. Yeah, she was hitting on him. Yeah, sure. She reciprocated. Well, this is what I'm saying. She should have known better. It doesn't make any sense. She was an incredibly intelligent and powerful woman. And then she met this whiny teenager that was beneath her. And she was like, I'm going to give up all of my sanity. I'm going to give up everything for this whiny, immature teenager. Yeah. Yeah. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Okay.
I can't do it.
No. Make it make sense. Attack of the Clones. Okay, I take it back. Attack of the Clones is my least favorite. I just can't. I'm not a big romance novel book movie person anyway, and the whole weird dynamic of their relationship was so cringe. It's just there's some sweetness in it. Like, I appreciate the fact that he was willing to go to the dark side for her, but at the same time, it's like, this is ridiculous. Like, the premise is good. The premise is good. The execution, not so much. I don't know why. I am always baffled by how many men say that at Return of the Sith, or excuse me, Revenge of the
Revenge.
Sith. Yes, my bad. Revenge of the Sith is the best one. It's like, really? It's
What
so emotional. It's like, so
it's
then don't come at me where it's like
the
women are
murdering the
so emotional.
younglings.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. That's okay.
Perfect.
To get the point across, to show that he's evil, but it's just like, okay, he went from all of this to, yeah, sure, no problem. I'll just kill a bunch of kids. It's okay. It's fine. There was like hardly any struggle, and when there was a struggle, it was just like it's just so whiny. So whiny. And that's why I just don't understand. I'm like, all the men out here are just like, yeah, Anakin's the man. It's like, he's so emotional. He's so emotional. I don't get it. Now, I'm not saying that the part between, him and Obi-Wan Kenobi wasn't sensational and didn't mean anything. I mean, yeah, of course. You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you. That's good. Like, I'm not saying that men can't be emotional. I don't understand. Like, that part to me makes sense. It's valid. Grew up together. Obi-Wan sacrificed a lot to train Anakin. I just don't understand the hype for Hayden Christensen's Anakin because he was such an emotional, hormonal teenager. Some women want a man. Well, no, the fact is that all women, to a degree, want a man that they can fix. It's just how women are. It's just how we are. But Padme became irrational and just stupid, and I guess that's what love will do to you. But like, she became so much more immature in Revenge of the Sith than she was in The Phantom Menace. And that's like, what, 10 years of a gap? This woman is in her mid-30s by the time she's in Revenge of the Sith. And
Well,
she can't make a decent decision because of her teenage husband, or well, by this time he's in his early 20s. That doesn't make any sense.
We're also talking about a girl who died because she just gave up the will to live.
But that's not true either. According to the lore, Palpatine was manipulating the Force to kill her.
Is that how it was?
Mm-hmm.
I guess
She didn't.
that's in a book, right?
She didn't just die of a broken heart. Now, it is possible to do that. And this is, again, where I'm like, this is a hinky film. Like, this doesn't make any sense. And the other thing is, too, it's just like, okay, so what about that part in Return of the Jedi when Luke is asking Leia, do you remember your mother, your real mother? And she's like, yes, she was very beautiful. Okay, she died after Leia was born. Like, what, 30 seconds after she delivered Leia?
Right after.
Yeah. So Leia has the memory of all the people on the Earth, planet Earth. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Well,
Luke is really whiny too. Okay, this makes sense that Luke was whiny in the first one because he was a teenager. And then he grew up. But if Luke Skywalker would have acted like Luke Skywalker from A New Hope in Return of the Jedi, I'd be just as upset. But it totally makes sense that he was whiny in the first one. The problem is that Anakin got whinier the older he got. That's where my problem is.
I blame Padme.
Typical man. Blame the woman. Yeah, it was a little much for me too. Like, it just got to be such a romance film that I just was like, But I know it's a hot take, and all the men are just, a lot of the men are like, you don't know what you're talking about. He gave up so much for her. And look, again, the premise of the story, I love. The fact that he was willing to go to the dark side and abandon everything because he loved her so much and he loved his family so much and he wanted to protect his family. Total Chad move. Okay. I'm not arguing with that premise. The execution of it kills me. Like, yeah, it doesn't
Darn
make
George
sense.
Lucas.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, exactly. Poor George. I love his work. It will always be a masterpiece to a degree of, again, the premise, but the execution. The thing is, too, he kind of wedged himself. That was unintentional, I believe. He kind of wedged himself into a corner because he made episode 4, 5, and 6 first. So, in my opinion, I think he kind of rushed Revenge of the Sith, but he didn't have a lot of wiggle room. He had to make everything fit in the third movie because there was no other option, right? We go immediately into episode 4, so but that's my hot take. I know a lot of people don't like it, and that's fine. That's fine. It is what it is. You guys can be wrong. It's okay. No, but honestly, I guess that's just the part that confuses me, where it's just like Anakin is so hormonal and emotional that I just don't understand why all the guys love him. I guess as a female, I just don't understand that part. Again, I understand the idea. Total Chad move to sacrifice everything for your woman. That's a beautiful thing. We need more men like that, of course, but just the execution thereof. I'm like, really? Really? This is the guy that I love? Really?
No.
And I'm not saying Hayden Christensen deserved the hate that he got. 100% not, because that was George's situation. Like, that was something that George needed to work on. But Clone Wars and Rebels was done well. I heard that, like, a lot of people have told me, Tabitha, you need to watch the cartoons and stuff, like the animations. And it's like, okay, well, I think that's another problem too, where it's like sometimes you just can't appreciate a lot of the stuff anymore because they want you to watch the cartoon, read the book, and it's like, but I just want to watch the movie and love it. Okay. How is your drawing turning out with, all the little things and
Let's
let's look at it. Aha! There you go. I would suggest with her eyeliner, make it pointier. With her eyelashes, make them pointier.
like right. This one.
Like both of them. Both of them. So eyelashes, as we know, they end in points, not circles. So it really helps the gracefulness, the beauty, the femininity of your character to make them, pointed.
Wait.
Alice Hart, hello. I heard she and this woman. I don't know what that means. So he didn't rush. Lucas wrote 1, 2, and 3 and way ahead of the time, but he felt like they wouldn't sell, so he started 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Well, what I mean is when like rush is like more like he crammed in. Just because he may have written 1, 2, and 3 first doesn't mean that from a production standpoint, because I hope we all understand that written artwork versus film is 2 different mediums, and so they translate very differently when on the screen. So it might have looked good on, like what they say, it looked good on paper, but executed wise, it may not have been what it could have been.
Does this look better with the pointies?
Let me get.
Or are they not pointy correctly?
All right. Well, do you notice that if you pay attention to the undercolor, the orange, do you see that you didn't really follow?
Well, I just erased it off that because you said I need to make it more pointy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then just fill in so she has her eyelashes and the eyeliner. Like, so because right now what you have is like this. And so what you need is like that. And then we will fill that in. Right? Does that make sense?
So we color it when we're.
Because if you see here, I've got it like this, and then we will eventually then fill that in. But that's why it was A New Hope, because 4, 5, and 6 were written then after when he chose not to start. Well, yeah, I mean, it's fine that he wanted to go backwards. I understand why it's A New Hope. Because Luke Skywalker and his sister were the New Hope. They were the new chosen ones. I will die on the hill that it's not as good as it could have been. And that's just me. That's just how the movie translated for me. I think it's great that people, all of us Star Wars fans have something that we love or even that we don't like about the different movies. Like I loved like Phantom Menace was my era. So that I love that movie. To this day, the pod racing scene is probably one of my favorites. And I will say that Phantom Menace was probably, well, no, it was the first movie that made me see the miraculousness, the miracle that is proper movie making, as far as what it takes to go into a movie with the cinematography and the music and all of that kind of stuff. Because Duel of the Fates like changed my life. Like that was the music of, it was the music that made me pay attention and fascinated me. I'd never heard music like that before, and it just kind of woke something up inside of me, and I was like, I love this. I can't live without music like this in my life.
Do you know that's the song I think of when I think of Star Wars, and it's not like the Imperial Death March or the Star Wars original?
That's okay. I will say that the opening scene, dun, dun, like that's what makes me think Star Wars, for sure. But the song that is iconic to me would definitely between Duel of the Fates and the Darth Vader's March. For sure. 100%. I mean, Darth Vader is my favoritist. He is my favoritist. Anakin still technically brought balance to the Force. Agreed. I 100% agreed that it was Darth Vader, because Darth Vader killed Palpatine.
Yeah, he threw him off. Well, he didn't kill him. They ruined it.
Just stop it right now.
Just kidding.
I will kick you off the stream.
You want to know? You want to know? It's funny.
They did my man wrong.
I never saw that movie, so I was just.
Oh well, then you just.
But they brought it back in Fortnite, and Fortnite's canon.
That was. Oh, I can't believe they did that to my man. They literally made Darth Vader, aka Anakin's death, his sacrifice, pointless and meaningless. And I was like, I can't believe they did that to my man. Why they got to go like that? It 100% didn't make any sense. Now I will say, if you ever, I will say that the scene where you see Palpatine for the first time in the sequel trilogy, outstanding. Like it's creepy and awesome, but it's not supposed to, It's right, Rizkid. He lives on through Fortnite. Yep.
Fortnite ruins everything.
Okay. All right. So I've got all this taken care of. I'm going to get rid of all my underlying layers to see if it looks pretty. And it does. We, of course, will notice that her pupils are missing. I kind of save those near the end. Your eyelashes look so much better. So much better. And so now it's like on a different layer, I will do the pupils so that I can determine where they need to go. So I'm going to back out here. Whoops. I'm going to fill it too. That kind of helps. And it's like, do I want her looking off to the side? Where do we want her, kind of looking over there? It's kind of cute. And then I will duplicate this so I don't have to draw it again. Drag it over here and just see it's like, it's a little cattywampus. So, whoops. Try to make them line up. Try to make them match. That's pretty cute, right? Vader was killed by Sidious. How else would you want it? He wasn't killed by... Well, I mean, I guess he was because he got electrocuted. He didn't... like, he wasn't and he wasn't, Like, he kind of was like... It was a collateral damage or whatever they call it, where it was inadvertent death. It was manslaughter. That's what I think is... It wouldn't technically be murder. It would be manslaughter. Because Palpatine wasn't setting out to annihilate Vader. He had his eyes on Luke, But this would be our Juvia character. Now it's up to Biggles. I don't know that we have the proper time to color it, but can always give you some tips and tricks on coloring. But this is our little character. What are your thoughts on what you made? Oh, she's so cute. Look at her.
I can kind of tell it's Juvia
Mm-hmm.
just because of the hat.
That's so funny that of everything, it's the hat for you, and I think that's great. Her hair does look like it's blowing in the wind, which is fantastic. It's not always the easiest thing to do to create the illusion of movement, but I really, really like that. What do you think of it? I like her little side skirt there too. Very nice. You did the swoosh.
I did my best.
Well, considering how you started, like your first go about versus now, what do you think?
Yeah, I like it. I think I didn't. Wait, what is this? Oh, that's part of her hair. I was like, what is this? What did I mess up here?
Oh yeah, Biggles, you are missing, I think, a couple of buttons on the top part of her vest. Because she's got 6.
Yeah,
Yours
I
is 4.
only drew 4 because I only saw you draw 4. So
Oh, I drew 5 actually.
Uh-oh.
Right there. It's just because on this side, it would obviously be covered up by the bow. So when you're drawing, that's something to take into consideration is just that, like finishing out what is there. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Is that not always just copying what somebody else does, but also taking into account the reality of what's happening, kind of like what we were talking about, like with her hips and all of that. So especially even with the buttons. So technically she has 6 buttons on her top, but I only draw 5 because our knowledge and our understanding would tell us that it's underneath the bow because the bow is over top of it, if that makes sense. So
I
with
drew a
your
small bow.
yeah, if her bow would move, then I would draw the extra button. I didn't leave out the button. It's more of like our mind would be telling us that the button is underneath of her bow. So there you go. Because your bow is smaller than this is what I was trying to help you with, like with intuition and paying attention to details, is that because your character is different than mine, even though it's the same character, because it's drawn differently from mine, you have to compensate for the differences. So like I said, just because you saw me only draw X amount doesn't mean that you draw only X amount, because you have to take into consideration where everything is on her character. But you are off to a great start. Now you are at somewhat of I don't want to say a handicap, but a difficulty because you're using the mouse. Now it's not impossible to draw steadily with the mouse, but it takes a lot of strength and muscle development in the hand, the shoulder, the wrist. But overall, I think your character's great and you definitely should have some fun coloring it. I strongly encourage you to look up some cell shading tutorials on YouTube for coloring this, because that's going to really, really help it. But it keeps it simple at the same time, which a lot of the anime characters, that's what they use, is the cell shading style. But if you were to do this again, you would have an easier time. And I strongly encourage you to do that. Taking what we learned tonight with the different layers of the sketching, finessing, you can look at your character and be like, okay, well, I don't really like this about her. It's like, well, then you can draw her again and it will be faster this time because now you know what to do. You know, you've got that foundation. And this is going to be the same for every character that you ever draw. Starting off with just that, when it comes to chibi, starting off with that circle and then building off of it. Lots of tutorials for that. I do have some on my channel, but Biggles, I'd be happy to help you out with some other drawing sessions in the future if that's what you would like. But I hope that when you're finished coloring with this, that you'll send it to me or post it. I'd love to be able to see the completed one because we all know color just makes the world get around. But hey, now I don't lie. I don't lie. I wouldn't do that to Biggles. See, Rizkit says, looks awesome, Biggles. See. All right, Biggles. Well, like I said, you've grown so much. And I think that anybody that's a fan of this anime would be able to tell who your character is, especially once the color gets on there. But, oh, you were telling Rizkit? Sorry. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Biggles, what's on your agenda? Where can people find you? By the way, I have the link to his Kick and to his X account in the description down below. But what's going on in your life, Biggles? What can people look forward to from you?
Every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, you can find me on my channel. We talk about all the new animes that are out, and it will basically be me, Crimson Law, and Little Chad yelling at each other over anime. And then I play Trials of Cold Steel, which is an anime game. JRPG, basically the whole story is an anime. We're playing through the entire series. There's 12 games, or actually there'll be 13 games before I finish. And we play those Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I came here, so I streamed it yesterday, so we wouldn't miss a stream. But I've just been making videos, having fun. You can catch me on Tales from the Dragon Staffin with the Captain Moss, Captain Moss and JJ. There is something I cannot officially announce yet, but there's stuff happening. So
Stuff. Okay.
stuff.
Well, that's awesome. Well, good for you. Yeah, like I said, Biggles' stuff is in the description box down below. Be sure to support him over there. DL says, so Tabitha. Wait, where'd it go? Are you going to do any more streaming this coming weekend? Tomorrow night, I am going to be over on my Kick channel and my YouTube gaming channel, Dreaming_Tabitha. And I am going to be playing Escape the Backrooms with Moss, Nomi, and Sevi. It's going to be a great time. Can't wait. I've made a lot of fun artwork from those streams. This is one of them. One of my first experiences playing the game with him. Poor Moss. He was left to fend for himself while we just sat by idly and
My poor captain.
enjoyed the screams. But yeah, please be sure to hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe if you are new here. Appreciate having all of you. By the way, you can become a member of the channel down below with as quick as a click. You get access to really cool vlogs, coloring pages that I make of my chibis. They're going to be available for members only. Of course, you can also become a member over on Patreon, where I release videos and different things like that that are separate from YouTube. Appreciate everybody that already supports me over there. And yeah, you know, I'm happy with what you've made, Biggles. Appreciate you being here. How I real feel.
Not impressed by your performance.
Was that George St. Pierre?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Anyway, thank you all so much. I think over here on the Kick channel, I'm going to send you over to Nagargal. He's doing something fun, I'm pretty sure. But until next time, guys.
If I was watching this video, I would like it. I would like the video, and I would probably subscribe, because this is so thoroughly entertaining and also well executed. It's a